Why are you showing my Instagram? Because it your case up. That's why.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Being board certified just means that I've gone through a lot of trials. I've had taken 2 exams. I've had a judge, or judges, lawyers, prosecutors vouch for my credentials. It means you're seasoned. So when I give you an analysis of whatever we're doing, it comes through the lens of a seasoned professional, a criminal defense lawyer. And so today I'm coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by our former content genius that you know as my son, Michael Rivers, and we're reacting to the ASAP Rocky verdict. But before we get to the verdict, which I'm sure you already know what it is, before we get to it, let's kind of highlight some key moments of the trial. So, this detective, I want to talk about a detective that testified. This came from day 7 of the trial.
Day 7 of the ASAP Rocky trial was interesting. A police officer and a lead detective testify. Defense lawyers point out a lot of inconsistent statements about Relly's story. Apparently there's no video of Relly going back to the crime scene, and he didn't give the police the shell casings until 2 days later. Remember how he said he put it in a brown paper bag? The cop says it was a black plastic bag. What's going on here? Hey, subscribe, let's go, boys. Alright, this is Officer Kirk Anderson.
I was working the front desk. It's patrol time to the desk where people come in and you take reports and help citizens out.
This might be the officer that...
So one of the things that happened here is their case was built around a very flawed witness, and that is Relly, ASAP Relly. Relly was a high school friend of ASAP Rocky's, okay? Rakeem Mayer. Now, when you have a case that's built around a flawed witness, and it's 100% built around that flawed witness, you're in trouble. Because the casings that they found, the cops didn't find those. They were found 2 days later. When they were found 2 days later, there's what they call a chain of custody, because the bag wasn't the same as the bag that they said they found, when they got to trial. And so there was a lot of issues just with that one fact alone. Then you couple that with the fact that Relly was suing. So the problem that you have is that, if Relly is suing Rocky, he's got a motive to lie, right? And then you take his injuries from when he was allegedly shot, that his knuckles were just barely grazed. Who believes that? That's the issue that you're going to have with this.
Relly talked to when he walked into the police station with the bullets.
Yeah, he walked into the lobby of the police station. He said he was with a lawyer. There was a man in a suit that was with him.
He walks into the police station with a lawyer. Does that sound like the victim of a crime, or does that sound like a litigant?
It's not just that he told you he was a lawyer, you also saw this man wearing a suit.
Yes.
Okay.
He said he was a victim of a shooting, and that he was shot by this unknown celebrity named ASAP Rocky. He said they'd known each other for about 15 years, and he was part of a group called ASAP Mob. Efron said that he heard that ASAP Rocky was talking bad about him over the cell phone. He said from about 5 or 10 feet away, ASAP Rocky pulled out a black handgun from his waistband and told him, "What's up now?" He then pointed the handgun at Efron and said, "I will kill you right now," approximately 2 to 3 times. Once they got to the area of Selma Vista Del Mar, he said ASAP Rocky turned around and fired approximately 3 to 4 shots at Efron.
Did he tell you whether he was struck by any of the gunfire?
Yes, he said he was struck in his left hand knuckles area.
When he walked into the police station, you had a chance to observe him, obviously, correct?
Yes.
Could you see any injury to his left hand knuckle area?
I did see an injury to his hand knuckles. He said he ran off one direction, and ASAP Rocky and others ran off another direction. After he got to the hotel, he said approximately an hour later,
The shooting itself doesn't have much of an explanation.
Selma Vista Del Mar, and he said he collected 2 casings off the ground. Yeah, he provided a photo of the casings on the street.
Did he actually show you a photo?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of stuff we already know already.
It was booked as evidence, so I put it inside of an evidence envelope, and then I sealed it and wrote the information on the envelope.
Isn't this a chain of custody issue with the whole bullet shell casings or whatever? How is this even allowed to come in as evidence if a police officer didn't find this themselves, or a detective or a crime scene investigator? The victim himself picked it up. Is that allowed? Is that a thing?
So when cross-examination starts out, you write your report in a complete and accurate manner as you possibly can, right? You know the next question is, okay, now these facts here that I've got over here that are in your fucking report, I'm going to jam them up your ass. And that's exactly what he's doing here.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, he's going to attack the report here. Because remember, there were some inconsistent statements. What any lawyer would do, just casting doubt for the police report in front of the jury.
Mr. Efron told you that as he was approached by Mr. Mayers pulled out a gun from 5 to 10 feet away. Is that what he told you?
Yes.
In fact, Mr. Efron never told you that before coming to see you, meaning before he made his report to the police, that he had already texted a screenshot of his great fingers to Mr. Mayers' manager with messages saying that he, Mr. Efron, was getting rich. He never told you that, right?
No.
So if Efron said he's getting rich, you know, there's your motive to lie right there.
I mean, I think it's a little told. And the answer was he never conveyed that to you, right?
Correct.
Right. In fact, Mr. Efron also did not tell you that before coming to the police, he had already sent a text message to his own business associate saying, quote, I want to get this N-word's money, referring to Mr. Mayers. He never told you that either.
I want to get this fella's money. What does that tell you? That tells you he wants, this is totally motivated by extortion.
Right?
Right.
Mr. Efron also did not tell you that before making his report to the police, before he came to you, Mr. Mayers texted him that Mr. Efron was trying to extort him, that Mr. Efron should stop calling Mr. Mayers' manager, and that Mr. Efron should call the police. He never told you any of that, did he?
He did not.
He didn't give them to you until 2 days later, November 8th, 2021, right?
Yes.
Wait, what? He never gave them the shell casings until 2 days later after the shooting? What?
So what you see here is you've got a situation where Efron or Relly is completely motivated and really blinded by the success of Rocky, and he wants to get after him. He wants to take his money. So the prosecution in this case starts out in a very flawed position, because if the person that is their, you know, it's the foundation upon which the house is built, right? So if that person is flawed and is in sinking sand, the house will not stand. Let's fast forward to 12E testifying. This is a bad fact for Rocky. Apparently, he's telling 12E not to answer the questions of the prosecutor.
The situation with Rocky, that you would have communicated, hey, listen, I've seen Rocky 3 other times with Rocky. Would that be important?
Yes.
So, do you believe that you would have told the defense of that important information when they interviewed you?
I'm not so sure. It was a while ago.
Do you agree that there's no mention of it in what I handed you?
This is.
What's the grounds?
Relevancy. It's not relevant that it's not in there. Sustain.
Now, you're aware that at the time of this incident, that
See, one of the things that's important when you try a case is knowing the rules of evidence, and you can shut a line of questioning down like that if you know the rules and you're right on the rules.
Mr. Mayers, let me back up. Can you explain, you said that he carried the starter pistol for security measures, and you then expanded that to say he did so after being a victim of violence and home invasions, correct? Can you explain to me how a starter pistol would assist someone who was the victim of violence or a home invasion?
This is one of the problems I had with the case in terms of the starter pistol theory. I mean, what rapper do you know carries a starter pistol? Fucking nobody. I didn't buy that.
Only answer that I have is that you could scare somebody away with it. That's the only thing that I have.
So if somebody was doing a home invasion, I want you to assume the following hypothetical.
Yes.
An individual does a home invasion and they have a weapon such as a firearm. Would you agree
If I was the defense, I'd be objecting to this line of question because it's completely hypothetical, completely speculative.
that a prop gun is not going to act as a deterrent to someone with a real firearm?
That's how
Speculation.
that's a hypothetical situation.
You don't have to answer, the objection sustained.
See, that's exactly what I told you.
Mr. Phillips, can a prop gun, in your experience, does it have the ability to actually stop somebody from committing violence against you?
Objection, foundation, and speculation. In other words, so when a witness is asked a question, they have to have a basis of knowledge. Do we have any information to suggest that he's a firearms expert, or that he's a home invasion expert, or he's got any training in either one of these areas? I mean, it's ridiculous.
From my understanding with the situation with Relly, no.
In fact, the reason you say that is, it's your testimony that Relly knew it was a prop gun, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to get back to this in a moment.
Okay, well, if Relly knew it was a prop gun, then he wasn't in fear of his life. So that's a question that the prosecutor asked that he didn't know the answer to. And he just stepped in what they call a legal pile of dog shit. Notice the big long pause with the fucking prosecutor after he just screwed himself on that question.
In the entertainment world, in the rap world that you are involved with, are you aware of individuals, of rappers, unfortunately, who have been subjected to violence, even who've been murdered?
Yes.
Would you agree that if someone was out to commit a violent offense against an individual, that a prop gun is not going to be a match for a real gun or a knife or any other kind of weapon? Would you agree?
Well, I'm not too sure because I'm not in another person's shoe, and I'm not.
He just disqualified himself from that answer. In other words, I don't have the foundation to answer that question. I'm not in that person's shoes, so I'm going to have to guess. You can't guess. It's called speculation.
I'm sure how they would react to seeing the property.
I want to give you the following hypothetical. I want you to assume that you're in your own home.
Here's the thing. I like this witness for the defense because he's not combative, he's calm, and he's clear.
And home invaders come into your house with real firearms. Would you agree that a prop gun is not going to be the kind of weapon that's going to have any ability to stop those individuals?
Why would you ask him that question? I mean, it's an inane question. And when you, so this is cross-examination. There's a difference between direct and cross-examination. Direct examination, you ask open-ended questions. So tell me what the weather was like on Thursday. Well, it was cloudy and it was below zero and I froze my ass off. Those are open-ended questions. As opposed to on Thursday, isn't it true that it was below zero and that you froze your ass off? You control the witness, you know? He's giving him the opportunity to explain. You don't do that on cross.
Those individuals.
I'm not too sure.
So you think that an individual, someone comes in with actual firearms.
Objection, argumentative. All right, we're not going to watch any more of this guy. This prosecutor is very difficult to watch, to be honest with you. Okay, so let's fast forward to some moments in the trial where it gets a little heated.
No, we have to go see. Now you think you slick.
No, you did because you're sneaky.
Don't be insulting. Stop it.
I'm filthy.
This is just, if you look at his body language, you look at his face, you're being sneaky. In other words, I'm getting my ass handed to me. You can tell that he thinks he's losing the case. So one of the things that these rappers do, or actually everybody does it, not just rappers, but life doesn't happen unless it's online, right? Everybody puts everything online. And so there's an argument about a photo that was on Instagram. So, and this is what witnesses sometimes can't see. You're way ahead of them when you do the cross, right? So you know where you're going to go. They don't really have an idea. And you might have something in your pocket, figuratively speaking, that you're going to, surprise them with after you get them to commit a particular fact. And then it a lot of times doesn't sit well with the witness. Watch this.
Efron also outright denied his own voice and phone recordings, accusing the defense of presenting fake evidence.
So you called him because we were presenting fake evidence to you?
Yes or no?
I don't know, man. Is this something? I don't know.
Why did you call him?
Because you guys just keep playing fake audio to me, like fake stuff. I never said none of that to him. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't fit in with this case. You're trying to slip it in.
Okay, stop. All right, just answer the question.
So basically, Relly is saying that the defense has manufactured evidence and they used AI, that he never said the things he said in the recordings. I don't think people are used to the AI argument yet. I think it's going to be coming soon, to be honest with you, because I think it's going to be something it's more accessible to everybody. Somebody just sent me a video, a song about Michael just recently, and it was a nice tribute, but it was AI. I think they were sending it to me because it was an ad for AI. But anyway.
Pointed it at you. Where on your body was it pointing?
Like towards my stomach, like towards like my headish a little. Like everything was happening so fast. So fast. You know what I mean?
And from what you're describing, was it moving?
Yeah, it was moving. He had it up.
Okay, so he didn't just hold it at your stomach. It was kind of
No, he was looking for a spot to shoot.
Okay.
Like if Elijah wasn't there, I don't know what would happen.
And you said as he was pointing it at you, what did he say?
I'll kill you right now.
And was that in an angry tone?
Yeah, he was livid.
Was his voice elevated? Like, was he yelling this at you, or was this something he was saying quiet?
Yeah, because we was yelling back and forth at this point.
One of the things you want to do on direct examination, especially when you're a prosecutor, or actually doesn't matter if you're a prosecutor or defense lawyer, or if you're a plaintiff's lawyer or defense lawyer, you want the person to tell their story. And when you're not getting the answers, like he's not getting the exact answer that he wants, he's not letting the witness tell his story.
All right. And you said that after he pointed the gun at you, you became angry, correct?
Yeah, I became furious.
So what did you say back to him?
I told him to use it.
Why did you?
Because mentally, I couldn't believe he just pulled the gun out on me. So I'm like, what the f***? Like, you better use that you got a gun for.
Can you explain, I want, as best you can to the jury, explain to them what you mean by, I can't believe you just pulled the gun on me. What do you mean by that?
Like, I physically cannot believe there was a gun in my face. That was the breaking point for me. Because like what I said, I told this kid numerous times, if you have a problem with me, let me know. You know what I mean? I feel like this got to the max. Like this was like no return. So if I was willing to die for my respect at this point, I don't care. You get what I'm saying? Like if this is what you want to do, I still have my dignity. That's how I felt.
He's going to die for dignity. This is the same guy that's texting, I'm going to get rich. Keep that in mind. That whole backdrop of I'm going to get rich is the sand within which the foundation of their case sinks. When you have an effective cross-examiner, like Takapine is a good lawyer, you have a situation where the witness, they tend to get frustrated, they tend to get flustered, they tend to get upset.
Well, did you hear your testimony?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And when you said it, I said it was with love, right? That's what you just said.
I don't get what you're saying. Sorry.
What did you hear yourself just say?
I don't get what you're saying.
Here's my question. Here it comes. What did you hear yourself just say?
But what are you getting at? I don't get what you're saying.
Don't worry about what I'm getting at.
But explain it again.
The lack of candor, the lack of ability to answer a simple question, what did you hear yourself just say? I don't get what you're getting at. It's not what you care, you get. Answer the fucking question.
I'm confused. I'm getting think
All
I
right,
what he's
just
saying.
listen. He's asking you, did you hear your testimony?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? He's just asking you.
Did I say it? Did I say, I don't know, can you explain the question?
Did you just see yourself?
No, but you're not explaining the question.
Here's my question.
I see myself, but you're not explaining. So what I'm supposed to say is
Just
say no
listen.
to.
Just listen. Did you
It's
see
not
yourself?
simple.
First of all, it's very frustrating for the court reporter when people talk over each other because their fingers tend to burn up in smoke.
Did you see yourself? That's
I see myself.
Did you hear yourself?
I heard myself.
Was that truthful?
What's truthful?
What you just said.
That I love him or like we was cool? I don't know what you mean. I said a lot of things.
The part that you said, if I said you, it was sort of wishy-washy with love, you know? That part.
Okay,
That
it's true. True.
True?
Yeah.
By the way, before we start talking about the events surrounding November 6th, 2021, which we will talk about, Mr. Efron.
Can you pull up the rest of the text message?
Mr. Efron, here's what we're going to do. I'll ask the questions, and you're going to answer them. Okay, if you can. In November 2021,
A lot of times witnesses will like to try to take control, and what Tacopina did there is just basically, I'm the lawyer, I'll ask the questions, you sit there and answer them.
you told people that you were a millionaire, correct?
What?
You do not understand my question.
I don't understand this. Yes, no, I don't know. Like, why don't you show my Instagram? I'm already getting death threats. People.
Why are you showing my Instagram? Because it fucks your case up. That's why.
Threatening my daughter. Like, what's going on here?
Who gave you that, Mr. Efron?
The whole world.
The world threatened you? The whole world gave you
Because
that?
of what you're saying.
Because I'm asking you a question about your Instagram.
Because you're saying I'm extortionist and all of this, and you're putting my whole life on. This is getting really annoying.
No one is calling you.
So he is just freaking out because he knows that they're deep into his Instagram, and who knows what's going to come up next. I think he's nervous.
You extortionist.
You're gonna get. What does this have to
Mr.
do
Efron,
with the
you're going to
case?
get through a lot faster if you just answer the questions.
So last week, after turned to the stand on Wednesday, he seemed to change his story, admitting that after revisiting his Instagram archive, he realized that the video was actually filmed at the Los Angeles Gun Club. Now that change in testimony raised even more questions about his credibility, also for the guy who allegedly found the 9mm casings at the crime scene, something to be thinking about. But Efron had originally stated that he was on a business trip to California and returned to the East Coast before traveling back to Los Angeles in the days leading up to the confrontation with Rocky. But when he was questioned about why he had to revisit his Instagram archive to know what was really going on.
So when you do a deep dive into somebody, I did this once with a witness. I had her Instagram, I had her Ask FM count, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. And I had a bunch, and I went through her social media, and she tried to portray herself as this, this very tiny, very, I'm just I'm this innocent person. And I said, well, you describe yourself on Instagram as a loudmouth bitch, right? I mean, it was all over, and she's like looking at me like, how can you know this all about me? But it's all out there. So ASAP Rocky now changes his story after he realizes they're deep into his Instagram.
This is when he became increasingly defensive.
There is nothing in your Instagram that showed you were in Los Angeles on October 19, 2021. Is there?
Yes, it is.
Really? I'm going to give you a live phone. You show me on your Instagram. Show me on your Instagram where it shows that you're in Los Angeles on October 19, 2021.
What do you mean a live phone?
A phone. It's your Instagram. I'm going to go to your Instagram.
No, we would have to go see. Now you think you slick.
Now you think you're slick. See, when you're catching somebody like that, he's defensive. He's changing his story.
Archive. You're not going to show me something of my highlights, which is not there. You think you slick.
Stop. This is.
You're not going to keep tripping me up. I'm on.
Mr. Efron! Stop! Just stop talking.
When the judge continually yells at your witness, it's a fucking problem.
Talking.
Your Honor, we have a letter from the VA, and the letter says that Mr. Efron informed them that he went on his Instagram.
Yes, my Instagram.
All right. Your Instagram, as in Relly Boss?
You're trying to show me somebody else's that I can't activate where I can go to my archive.
He
You're
doesn't.
not
All right,
slick.
stop it. He doesn't need to go on someone else's phone.
Do you have your phone with you?
You know I don't got it. It's over there. We can get it though. I can show them. We can go get it right now.
So your
We can clear this
Instagram
up.
is what caused you to go back.
No, you did because you're sneaky.
Don't be insulting.
Because you're sneaky. That's because, no, I'm not sneaky. You just are telling lies.
Stop it.
I'm feeling.
He is not insulting you. Don't insult.
And this dressing down of the witnesses happened right in front of the fucking jury. And it doesn't help the state. You know, if I was the state, I'd say, Your Honor, can we take a recess? Because you're yelling at my witness, and it looks bad in front of the jury.
Don't insult him. Don't insult any lawyer that's asking you questions. You're not doing yourself any good by doing that.
I mean, I'm getting screwed. I mean, this is not.
You hear that? I'm getting screwed. I'm getting screwed. By what? By asking questions?
This is not what I.
How much longer do you have?
3 minutes, sir.
What is it, 3 minutes?
Well, depends. Answer the question for you.
It's 12 o'clock. I would like to get finished with
Yeah, we will.
Mr. Efron before we take the break.
So anyway, what was it that caused you to remember this? What did you see?
You. Yeah, your question asking, not giving me time, tripping me up. So I went back and I analyzed my whole Instagram, analyzed everything you said, and I started realizing what you was doing. So then I went to my archive. You just tried to show me something off a story that you can't get in your archive. So you're already like lying to people or lying about the situation because you know I cannot see it through that way. I would come up with my phone.
You cannot accuse anybody of lying. Do not do that.
Nobody
I told
told
you nothing derogatory.
But nobody told me this. I mean, this is.
I'm telling you, and I've been telling you, do not be derogatory
This is all new.
toward anyone in this courtroom.
This is why the state's case is not doing well.
Also, during Efron's cross-examination, he was asked about phone conversations that he had with a man named Wally Sajimi, so a branding consultant for both Efron and Rocky. And this is important because Sajimi had apparently recorded several conversations, and one of which allegedly captured Efron saying that suing A$AP Rocky, that was the plan all along. And Efron was purportedly heard stating that if he walked away after getting a payout, the criminal case would be weaker because prosecutors would have to hunt them down. Now, despite this, Efron has adamantly denied the authenticity of all three recordings, insisting that the third one didn't even sound like him, and then he argued that the recordings shouldn't be admissible.
So, Relly's confronted with some recordings, and the recordings are about suing Rocky. And so let's just see how that plays out here.
We talked about that individual, Wally Sajemi, who you said you knew, correct?
Who?
Wally Sajemi.
Wale?
Yeah. The guy, the IT guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know who Wally is, right?
Is that yes?
I said that.
Did you tell Wally in August of 2022 that you can't sue someone with circumstances like that without a criminal action? Did you say that to Wally?
I mean, that's clear. You can't sue somebody and say it's a crime.
It's not what he's asking. He's asking, did you tell that to Wally?
I don't remember. It's due.
So this goes to bias. So did you tell somebody that you can't sue somebody while the criminal case is going on or before the criminal case because it's going to weaken the criminal case, which is true. And so they have this ammunition, and Relly just is adamant that he didn't have anything to do. That wasn't him on the recording.
This dude probably was baiting me, calling me. I don't know. Got a spoof of his voice.
So the answer is no?
No.
I'm sorry, I just want to follow up on that answer. The dude was baiting you, calling you, did you say?
I mean, you telling me about private conversations that I had with this dude.
I'm asking, I'm not telling you.
I mean,
Did you say spoof?
I mean, the phone call you played yesterday was not me.
That was not you.
That was not me.
That was fake.
That was fake. 100% fake.
Yeah. You would agree, sir, that you really didn't care about getting the police involved in this case. What you really wanted was money from Rocky, right?
This is not a civil suit.
He's asking you a yes or no question. Ask the question again.
Can you ask the question again?
Sure. You agree that you really don't care about getting the police involved. Your end game was to get money from Rocky, right?
You really don't care about getting the police involved. You just care about getting money from Rocky.
Right? Yes or no?
No, I wanted some type of protection too. He was not giving me no type of comfort that this was not going to happen again, nor. So, regardless, I was going to go to
So
the
the
police.
answer is no?
No, I was going to go to the police.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Well, did you tell Wally in April of 2022, I don't give an F about no police N-word? You said Wally.
What's the contents to that? What is that about?
About this case.
But you're not. What are you talking about?
Based on the question, it would be irrelevant without further foundation.
I'm asking if you made a statement to Wally.
I don't know. I don't.
Objection foundation.
It's a statement. It's a statement.
Okay. Did you tell Wally in April of 2022 that the end game is you're gonna sue the shit out of Rocky?
When? If I already have a civil suit and this dude's calling me, I'm openly telling him I have a civil suit.
Mr. Efron, that's not what he's asking.
So it's really difficult when a witness just won't answer the question. And lack of candor is something that a jury can take into account when they assess credibility. And he's not answering the questions.
Please listen to his question.
I don't know. I
want you to listen to his question, and then you can say, I don't know, or I don't remember, or yes or no. Mr. Tacopina, can you re-ask that
Sure,
question?
Your Honor. Sure. In April of 2022.
And you don't ask that question without having something to back it up, because then you get that IT guy or whoever this guy they're talking about. He goes, yeah, no, he actually did say that to me.
Did you tell Wally the end game?
Wally.
I don't know.
Now, despite the defense's repeated questioning, Efron continued to deny making these statements. And when he was pressed on his relationship with Shijimi, Efron initially denied knowing him, only to later admit that he did know him and even spoke to him regularly.
I'm going to ask you if you said the following.
If you ever see somebody that looks defeated, it's this guy right here. You know, it's tough to watch in a sense because the state's case is kind of imploding on him, and Relly is not a pillar of virtue, as we would like to say it. So let's just kind of move on a little bit from Relly because he's getting a little boring. Now the case gets a little heated when there's some disputes between the lawyers.
Do not mention the prosecution's verdict. Here's a quote. On an objection, you overrule it. The prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury.
So one of the things that courts don't like is when you impugn the other side. You know, so if you said the prosecution accepts the perjury, in other words, they're suborning perjury. They're criminal. And basically it's unethical to kind of do that, unless you really have the goods.
It's improper, it's unethical, you said you're not going to tolerate it, and I object, and you make it clear to the jury that my objection you find annoying. It's very clear that the tone that we get when we make an objection that should be sustained is, what are you doing? That's what was said. You specifically...
Lower your voice and don't yell at me. I told you before. I'll listen to what you say. Speak in a normal tone of voice.
Judge, we're doing...
You don't yell at the judge. And, you know, and I think the judge is just kind of fed up with this case, and he's fed up with the prosecutor. He doesn't deal with Tacopina on a daily basis, so he doesn't have any bad blood with Tacopina, right? Tacopina is a New York lawyer. This is an LA courtroom. And it's a high-profile case. So there's a lot going on here. And the judge, I guarantee you the judge has history with this lawyer.
We're doing the best we can to make sure that this trial is ethically conducted. They have repeated, I've objected, you told them it's improper. You overruled repeated objections where they are saying improper things. He just said a moment ago This is a direct quote. The prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. I object. You respond, that's appropriate comment on the evidence. It is not appropriate comment on the evidence, Your Honor. I don't know if you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear that.
So, Judge,
What I heard, I could have been wrong, what I heard was that Mr. Tacopina was describing Relly as committing perjury.
Judge, that's a direct quote. The direct quote was, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. Here's another one. Relly committed extortion. There is no legal...
Okay, so the one comment about the government basically accepting perjury is out of bounds. But the other one about Relly committing extortion, he's admitted that he's going to sue him. We got text messages saying we're going to get rich, or I'm going to get rich, that kind of thing.
Do you think the jury's going to ask for what the legal description of extortion is?
Your Honor.
Forcing someone to pay money, that is, quote, extortion.
No, Your Honor.
Go on to something else.
No, I want to make my record. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do, but I have a right to make my record. No lawyer can get up here and tell the jury that a crime has been committed when there is no instruction on that crime. When in fact, Your Honor, that's not the legal definition of extortion. We've objected, and the court again is basically telling me, don't worry about it, it doesn't matter. Your Honor, it does matter. After a while, when there are so many of these things, they add up. And when the court is saying, wow.
When there's so many of these things, you're getting beat down.
Wow, what they don't care about it.
No, I didn't say they don't care about it.
It seems, Your Honor, it's improper argument. And the problem is
I don't agree with you. I think using the word, quote, extortion to describe the conduct is not improper. I think it's fair comment on the evidence. You, in your rebuttal argument, you can say it wasn't extortion.
Your
you
Honor,
can address it.
Your Honor, the bigger issue, as I said, is the court was repeatedly told them, do not connect the prosecution to committing perjury.
I'll tell you what, I didn't hear that. I'm going to ask Kathy for the exact quote.
I've never taken my coat off in a courtroom. I don't know why Tacopina did that. Maybe because he's hot. Maybe because he's flustered by the prosecution's machinations. But I've never taken my coat off in the courtroom, and I never would.
Quote, if that's what was said, I'm going to sustain your objection, and I will apologize for overruling.
Judge, can I respond, please, on that one issue? Not everything else he said. What I said was, and I agree with what I said, but understand the context of it, okay? I didn't say this is more perfect. I didn't say it yesterday, I didn't say it today. The one thing I said, and it was fair comment, was the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. What I mean by that is in regards to one thing, and it's indisputable, Your Honor. It was regarding Relly saying the tape was fake. The tape was fake. They got up, cross-examined Mr. Sajemi, did not ask him if the tape was fake or not, okay? They then put up transcripts of that tape recording with attributions to Mr. Efron. So that means by that, just by that very fact, they accept the fact that he committed perjury. I'm not saying they support it, but they accept that witness committed perjury. They have to.
Yeah, it's a little out of bounds.
Let me finish. There's no other.
See that? Let me finish. He's just, we probably can't feel it, through the screens that we're watching this through, but it's fucking hot in that courtroom. It's tense. And when it's tense, tempers flare.
There's no other way for them to move forward unless they say that wasn't perjury, but it was because he said that was fake. We know that wasn't fake. It was real. That was perjury. So by then moving forward with it, arguing that that tape is important for the prosecution, that Efron said these things, that when they cross-examined Sajemi, that wasn't being a good friend to Efron because he made a tape. All that is doing is, I didn't say it's subordinate. It's different. I would never say that. I didn't say it yesterday. What it is doing is accepting it because they didn't say, we have an issue with this. He's been perjury.
There's a completely different way that Tacopina could have done this. Instead of saying that the government accepts the perjury of Relly, what he could have done is say, the state agrees with us that the tape is real. They used the transcript and adopted it as true. So Relly must be lying, You know, because both the government and the defense agree that this is an actual relevant and accurate piece of information in the trial, and that it's not fake. I mean, that would have been a more effective way than to impugn the other side. And when you impugn the other side, unless you really got the goods, it doesn't sit well with the jury and it doesn't sit well with the court.
I said they accepted their witnesses committing perjury. That witness committing perjury on that one issue. That's fair comment, Your Honor.
But that doesn't really get you where you need to go, because the government really isn't the enemy. I know a lot of times we say they're bringing the case, they are the enemy, and they kind of are in a sense. But the real enemy is Relly, because he's the one that's lying.
It's not inappropriate. It wasn't disparaging counsel. I didn't say Mr. Lewin. I just said they accepted, and that is true. There's no other way around it.
It is not fair comment. It is completely unethical.
I agree with you.
So, Your Honor,
I agree with you.
What's frightening is Mr. Tacopina just stood up here and basically defended, said, yeah, I said it, but I can say it. He doesn't know or care about the law. That is clear.
And that is something you don't say about the other side, care about the law. Give me a fucking break.
And Your Honor, when it's happened 25 times in this trial, with the hiding of evidence, with the late discovery, and with repeated, you told counsel before we started, do not disparage the other side. I said yesterday, you argue what you want about witnesses. You say a witness.
All right, I don't want to listen to that pipsqueak prosecutor much more. So let's move on to a couple different other things. They got 3 more clips we're going to share with you. We're going to do closing arguments, the verdict, and the lawyer's reactions afterwards. So one of the things that you look for in a closing argument is, you remember when in opening statements, the evidence will show. You can't make any argument in your opening statement. You have to say, the evidence in this case will show that X happened. And then you don't make any argument. You just can't. I mean, look at this clip of my cousin Vinny.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit. Thank you.
Everybody on the planet would love to do what Joe Pesci just did. Okay? You can't fucking do it. And then what does the judge do? He says, counsel's entire opening statement is stricken from the record with the exception of thank you. But in closing argument, though, that's when you make your argument. What you say isn't evidence. The judge or the lawyer's statements are not evidence, but they're designed to highlight pieces of evidence throughout the trial, and then make the argument. This is why you should find for the defense or for the prosecution.
When they initially respond to these calls, and I point out these calls because their response themselves happened to be the best that they could. The video also would have come out.
And the other thing is, my understanding, I'm not sure exactly how long these went on for, maybe 6 hours or something like that. Dudes, they don't want to fucking listen to you guys. I don't care how great Tacopina is. I'm sure his kids listen to him even less. But nobody wants to listen to you for 6 hours. Tacopina's closing wasn't 6 hours, but the total was like 6 hours. That's ridiculous. The longest closing argument I've ever given, and that was after a 7-week trial, was an hour. The judge in a federal case only gives you so especially if you have like 5 defendants. And that's what happened in that case. 9 times out of 10, I do like 25 minutes to a half hour. I try to keep it short, punchy, to the point, so that they can take what I'm saying. And we don't go last. So the government goes first, the defense goes next, and then the government gets a last bite at the apple. They get the right of rebuttal. In other words, they can get up and say, now everything Mr. Rivers said was bullshit. They don't really say that, but they get to pick up, but they have to confine their rebuttal argument to what you're saying. So it's frustrating because sometimes they'll mischaracterize what you say, and you don't get any opportunity for rebuttal. Very rarely do you get that opportunity. So that just gives you, I didn't want to go through the entire closing arguments from either side, but I just wanted to give you just a little bit of a flavor of what they were going after. Now, I'm sure you know what the verdict is, but let's watch the reading of the verdict together. First, you're instructed, once the jury gets the case, to not be with more than 15 minutes or so from the courtroom. So I'm sure Tacopina's, in a coffee shop or in the courthouse or just down the block or wherever, but more, not more than 15 minutes from the courthouse. So you're on standby, and you're on standby, and you're on standby, and you're on standby. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it doesn't happen quickly at all. I think they got the case on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe yesterday or Monday, but they just came back on yesterday. And it is one of the most nerve-wracking things to wait for a verdict.
Court for the announcement of the jury's decision in ASAP Rocky's 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Again, the jury deliberated for 2 to 4 hours today. We understand that will be read momentarily, so we're just going to check in, leave up the mics, and see what we hear in downtown LA.
What we're going to do, folks, is Deputy Bennett is going to give the verdict forms to juror number 1. Juror number 1, I want you to look at the verdict forms, and I'm going to want to know whether these verdict forms reflect your true and correct verdicts. Juror 2.
One of the things that the judge does in this case is he pulls the jury before the verdict. So he says, do we have a verdict? Yes, we have a verdict. Okay, juror number 1, you've seen the verdict? Is this your true and correct verdict? Juror number 2, blah, blah, blah. So that's one of the things that the judge is doing.
Juror 2, I'd like you to look over her shoulder so you can review the verdict forms. And I want to know from you whether these are your true and correct verdicts. Once I've heard from both of you, give the verdict forms to juror number 3. Juror 3, look at the verdict forms. Juror 4, look over her shoulder. So ultimately, I'm going to want to hear from all 12 of you whether these verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. You got it? These two will do the noise.
And look at Tacopina swing back and forth. That's almost like an infant, comforting measure. And you're doing that because you're fucking nervous. Even if you think you put in the best case possible, it can always go south, right? It can always go south. And you just don't know what a jury's going to do. So that's just a nervous habit.
Juror number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4?
The other thing you do is you try to and this never works, but you try to get some eye contact from the jurors. What's your verdict? You're saying that with your eyes. And they almost are always deadpan. If they come back and they're laughing, it's probably a defense verdict. If they come back crying, it could be a defense verdict, but probably a verdict for the state, for the government. I had one case where 2 women were just bawling on the jury, and it turned out to be a verdict for my client. My client was acquitted. He was looking at 12 plus years, and all of a sudden he's a free man. But they were crying because they didn't agree with the verdict, but they went with not guilty anyway.
Juror 5 and 6? Juror 5, are those your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Juror 6? Yes. All right, let's get the verdict forms to Juror 7. Juror 8, look over her shoulder.
And the judge polls the jury to make sure that everybody's on board. If there's anybody that felt like they were coerced or pressured into their verdict, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Juror 9?
Yes.
Juror 10? Yes. 11 and 12. Juror 11?
Yes.
Juror 12?
Yes.
All right, all jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual true and correct verdict.
So now, how long did that take? We're like 3 or 4 minutes into this, and your palms are sweaty. And I remember when the OJ verdict came in, way back when. I was just sitting there watching it on TV, and my palms were sweaty.
Yes, Your Honor. The Los Angeles Superior Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the State of California versus Joaquin Mayers. Case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of
One of the things I didn't hear the judge do is admonish the spectators, saying, "I don't. This, no matter what the verdict is, people are going to be happy with the verdict, and some people are going to be disappointed with the verdict. And so, no matter what your outcome is, no matter what the outcome of this verdict is, I don't want any outbursts. I don't want anybody celebrating or getting animated. But watch what happens here." First of all, there's no greater fucking joy than, honestly, it's my crack. You sit there and 1 minute your client's looking at 20 years plus, and the next minute he's a free man. There is no greater joy than that, honestly. But I've never seen anybody jump into the gallery.
Have a seat.
I think I told this story before. I was trying a murder case, and just before we're waiting for the verdict, like we just did there, and just before the verdict, my client looks over at me, big, huge arms, big guy, and he looks at me and goes, and the prosecutor was just a prick throughout the whole trial. He leans over and he says, "If it's guilty, it was a murder case, I'm jumping over this table, I'm whooping this prosecutor's ass." That's what he told me. Now, as an officer of the court, I probably should have told somebody, but I didn't, because I figured the prosecutor was such a prick. My client would get 1 or 2 licks in, and then he'd be hauled away by the deputies, and the prosecutor probably deserved at least 1 lick. But lucky for that prosecutor, it was a not guilty.
Have a seat.
Now, mind you, that's just the first count. There's another count still yet to be read.
Hold down. The verdict has to be read on count. Yes, sir. Repeat again. We, the jury, above the type of action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of semi-automatic firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony. Is charged in count 1 of the information this 18th day of February 2025, jury seat number 9, 4 person.
Right.
Title for the cause. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the crime of assault with firearm in violation of Penal Code Section.
All right, so not guilty on both counts. There is no greater feeling than winning a case for your client. There just isn't. That's why I do what I do. All right, now let's take a look at the lawyer's reaction outside the court.
Guys, bottom line is we're grateful for the jury. They saw through this mirage of a case. We said from day one he was innocent. He turned down a plea for almost no jail time because he was innocent. And I've always said this was an extortion. The extortion played out live in color in court. We've always said what it says is that the district attorney should look long and hard at prosecuting Tyrell Efron. We've said that from day one. They should do it now. They have him admitting to perjury. They have him committing extortion. The jury saw through it and came to an enormously quick and speedy verdict, the right verdict, and we thank this jury. And again, for me, my partner Chad, we're honored to have represented this amazing family. Rocky is one of my closest friends, but he's also just a great, great person. Rihanna, they are seriously the greatest people, and I said I love them, and I really do love them, and I got emotional in my summation because I care about them.
You get attached to your client. This case took 4 years to bring to a jury. 4 years. How the fuck does that happen? But it's California. Here, that wouldn't happen here. But you do get close to your clients. And I've choked up during a closing argument. It is very easy to do because there's a lot on the line.
This is one of the happiest days of my life, and I'm happy for them because they've earned this and deserve it.
So that's our reaction to the ASAP Rocky case. You know, it was built on a very shaky foundation, and you know, we'll see what happens here going forward with Mr. Relly. Mr. Relly, his civil case is fucking destroyed. Although a civil case, he needs to only prove by a preponderance of the evidence that this happened. But if they were able to demonstrably prove some falsehoods in his testimony, no lawyer with assault should really take that case, because he stood up to a plea deal. He said, I didn't do this. And sometimes clients want to take a deal even though they're innocent, and you got to talk them out of it, or, you know, it's their case to settle. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Go to CLRBruceRivers.com for merch, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.